Welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of Take the Trip with Us, where you hear from travel professionals who have experienced destinations firsthand. Listen to their stories and experiences, along with recommendations for your own vacation. Today, I have Jenny, Rochelle, Jamie, and Isla with me, and we're going to hear about their recent trip on Royal Caribbean's brand new ship, the largest one in the world, Icon of the Seas. So, welcome, ladies. And you didn't get lost, so I guess you made it back to shore, which is awesome. I've seen those pictures of the ship side by side. I'm like, wow. Like, what did you think when you first walked on board?
It's massive, for sure.
Yeah. Good directions though to get around.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I mean, it's easy to figure out whether you're going forward versus aft. The really neat thing is they have color coded tiles outside of the rooms. So as you're walking down a hallway, they gradually get darker or lighter depending on which direction you're going. So that definitely helps in finding your way.
Okay. So for those people that get off the elevator, like, do I go left or right? Then and I guess plenty of elevators, maps, stairs. Yeah. And it's divided into different sections, right? So I haven't been on the ship, so I'm super excited to hear about all of it. And it's divided into different neighborhoods. Am I correct there? Yeah, Jenny, what did you think about your room and where it was located and what did you think about it? Because you all were in the same room together, right?
We
Or
were. We shared a room. It was fantastic. Our room was on the eighth deck, super close to the elevators. So I really liked our particular location because where we were, we could easily walk through Central Park and access the other parts of the ship, the aft part of the ship. But it was a great location. We had a beautiful balcony room, and I thought that it was very well done. I thought that they really thought through a lot of the storage challenges that I think most people think about when they think of cruise ships, and how are you going to fit four people in a room. But I don't know about you guys, but ladies, I felt like we did a pretty good job of getting everything stored where we needed to, and there was plenty of space for everything.
that's awesome. Yeah, I can't imagine with four ladies in the room. So super. What I know there were new innovations and things in the room. Isla, you had said that there were some things that you thought were pretty cool.
Yeah, so in our stateroom and all the staterooms, one of the coolest features was it took a while to find the safe. Actually, I think it was Rochelle that had to ask where it was. And they've created, again, some hidden storage behind the mirror is where the safe is, but there's also shelving behind there as well that we could store things. Um, we got to view numerous staterooms on the Icon, luckily, during open house times. And I would have to say, one of the newest features that's on a royal ship, you've seen them on celebrity ships before, is the infinite balcony staterooms. It basically brings the balcony into your room. And for parents, especially parents that want that open air feel, but that are often worried about the balcony and their kids, younger kids getting out on the balcony, this is the perfect stateroom for you, because you have this sitting area, but the window can come up and down as well. And you can sit out there and draw the curtain, but the kids can't, like, there's not a door for them to walk out onto, or they can climb up, on those outdoor chairs. And it brings the sea room into you. And in fact, I actually think it makes the room look larger as a whole. When you look at it, when you first walk in, the room has more depth to it because you've brought that balcony space into the room itself. But it's a great feature. It has a different mood lighting at night. Apparently, we didn't see it because that wasn't our particular stateroom, but there are different modes of lighting, even in all the rooms. Our room had it as well. And the other thing is the bathrooms, they've changed the layout of the actual shower. It's no longer a more rounded tube shower, as we like to call it. It's, a little bit longer. They've added a little seat in there as well into the shower. So they've really done a great job of creating spaces that are very family friendly.
Yeah, that's neat. And talking about family friendly, isn't there a section of the ship that's just for families that has like rooms and things around it? Tell me a little bit about that, Rochelle. You're nodding your head. I think you might like that with your girls.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely a fantastic option for families with children. I would say specifically children of maybe elementary school age and younger. There's just so much for them to see and do there. But even older kids would be drawn to the area. It's a lot of really bright, fun colors. It reminds you of the Caribbean with all the just the beautiful coloring throughout it. On the rooms as you come into this neighborhood, it's an open air interior view of the ship, and it's so you can see out. So if it's raining on, you'd be rained on. But on a beautiful sunny day, which luckily we had, it was gorgeous. You've got the fun carousel in the middle there. And that's one of the things that they kind of changed up on this ship is it's not a typical carousel with just regular seats on it. They're all different aquatic animals, or well, not even just aquatic animals. There was lots of different animals on it. There was a narwhal, there was a giraffe, a flamingo, and the flamingo was kind of the mainstay focal point for this neighborhood on Icon. On the other Oasis class ships, if you looked up at where Abyss is, the dry slide, you have this gorgeous painting almost on like the ceiling area. And here in this neighborhood, it was a ginormous flamingo painted with these huge sunglasses on his face.
Aw,
It was
cute.
just really fun and whimsical, but not in a childish juvenile type of a way where older kids might feel like, oh, that's too baby. It was really fun. There is arcades there. They have lots of carnival style games, a little playground area. They do face painting all day every day. um, I had a flamingo tattoo painted on my arm, so that was fun. But then also in that area are several restaurants. There's lots of dining options, from quick grab and goes to a sit down option. Ice cream is available, beverage stations for the adults, as well as a Coke machine so that you can fill up those soda cups if you have those as well. And then a water park area right there for small children. So it's a more shallow pool. It has slides, not your big, huge, scary slides, but enough of a fun water park splash pad type atmosphere that's great for toddlers all the way up through your elementary kids. And it's right off of your suites. So some of those suites have that access just straight down their stairs right there into that water park, which is fantastic. And that's located far aft. So as you're right there at the very back of this Surfside neighborhood, you can see the ocean as you're just sailing by. So it's a really fun, upbeat, energetic, exciting area for families. There's honestly no reason to leave this area if you are traveling as a family. Lots of rooms are right there in that neighborhood. Even the infinite balconies, which I thought is a fantastic option right there. And then you also have your regular Surfside neighborhood view balconies as well. So lots of price point options available. Or you could get an interior near there if that's something that's more on the price point, but still be right there in that area for your kids to be close and right to the water park and out for the day.
That's what I was thinking. It just sounds so convenient. So that's on my list when I eventually get to take my grandchildren. So they're just little
Yeah.
babies, but eventually that's where I'll go. Now you talked about slides. So I have to ask because I know on some of these ships there's like really tall big slides. So Jamie, I know I did see a picture of you. It wasn't on the slide, but you were on that Crown's Edge, and I think Jenny was with you. So Jamie, you're smiling. What was that like? Or did you do a slide first to kind of ease into it?
No, actually, we did that first.
Oh wow.
We we did that our first day there. It was amazing. So they take you in, they suit you up, you put like a whole jumpsuit on, closed-toed shoes, and then you get a camera attached to you, and it films you the whole time you're out there. You get the video as part of the package. So you walk on like little X's out over the water, and then you step up onto a platform, and somebody on the other side decides when he's going to drop you, and he
Oh.
hits a button and the floor drops out and you zip line out over the water and back to land.
Oh my. So
It
it's
was
kind of like an adventure course, but a zip line.
correct. Like you walked out first on a little adventure course and then you zip lined back onto the ship.
Okay. And
It
my
was
understanding is, Jenny, you did this too, right?
I did. And, one of the things that I loved is that there's a little story that goes along with the Crown's Edge and the Adventures course. So as you're suiting up and they're sort of doing the safety check prior to you actually going out, they kind of give you this little backstory of what you're going to do while you're out there and this adventure that you're on. But, it's absolutely amazing. You're 154 feet above the water. And it's a little crazy to think what you're actually doing. I have seen a video or two since then that they filmed from the drones, and to be able to see what we were actually doing, it kind of makes you, it kind of makes you second guess, how adventurous you really were to be able to go out and try that. But it was absolutely amazing. It was a great time. I would definitely do it again. But that was we decided to go and be as adventurous as we possibly could that very first night, and then got to experience some of the other things that Thrill Island had to offer as well. So that was great.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you were brave enough for it because I don't think I would be. Now, is this why you're actually, for those of us or those folks that can see this YouTube video, is that why you have matching shirts on? Because
We decided to be icon twins
oh,
today.
okay, I see. I
so we have
see.
our
And
matching
Rochelle, I
icon.
know you've got a Royal Caribbean shirt on too. Yes. Awesome. I just didn't know if those were like, we're twins because we did this really adventurous, scary thing. And we
But
got through it.
we had our brave friends who were cheering us on from the bottom and recording all of our videos and taking our pictures for us. So they were a good cheering section for us.
That's great. So
And we
as
did it at night, so it was dark when we did it. So I think it'd be cool to see it during the daytime, when you can actually see the water a little better. Like you could see the water, but not, I think it made it a little easier to do it in the dark.
Probably so. Yeah, I would agree.
yeah, I could see that. Now, tell me about restaurants because as I'm hearing all these activities, I'm thinking that there's got to be lots of places to eat and a little bit different dining concepts than maybe on other ships. Jenny, did you have any favorites?
I think one of the things that I really liked about Icon, it's a new concept. It's sort of like a food hall. If you're familiar with a food hall in your local neighborhood where you go in and there's lots of little tiny smaller restaurants that are going to give you um, different choices, different cuisine options. That's the really neat thing that they have done on the Icon. And this is called the Aquadome Market. And I absolutely love this. I think, ladies, we probably went there and ate maybe 3 or 4 times possibly while we were there. But there's something for everyone, which is what I really loved. You can all go to this one particular area, and there really is multiple choices for really whatever you're looking for. They had a great crepe place. So if you're into crepes, it's called Creme de la Crepe or crepe. It's fantastic. They had a location called Ginger that's going to offer you more of the kind of Chinese or Japanese cuisine. I had their ginger beef several times. It was fantastic. They have Toast and Garden, which is going to offer you salads and different sandwiches. Feta was their Mediterranean kind of vibe feel restaurant option. And then they had Max, and Max offered a variety of different macaroni and cheeses. So that was definitely one of my favorites as well. But I loved it. It's super convenient too. From where it's located, it's right outside the Aquadome and the theater where you're going to get to go and see some of those incredible aqua shows. And it's also located very close to the Overlook, which is one of my favorite areas on the ship. Just a great area to kind of go and relax, sit down, lots of seating options. perfect for sort of early mornings or late evenings. I think that was really my favorite time of day to go and visit that particular area. But the Aquadome Market was fantastic. And so I really like that option of the food hall concept for future ships
So
too.
you actually would sit down. It wasn't like a buffet where you walked around.
So you can actually go and they have folks preparing your food for you. And so you grab your food, and there's lots of seating options right there inside of the market if you want to eat there. But you can go right outside. There's some seating options right outside of the theater. And then if you walk maybe, just not even probably 100 feet, you can go into sort of the overlook area. And there's lots of seating available in that particular area as well. So lots of seating. That is one of the things that I really noticed on board the Icon. And ladies, I think we kind of even talked about that, is that there isn't a lack of places to sit down and relax and kind of find a place to just chill out for a little bit. So, but yeah, I love the Aquadome Market. I thought that was a really great concept for the ship.
Yeah, and talking about seating and shows, I've seen pictures where it looks like, I mean, even though this ship is so huge, it just looks like there's so much space, so you don't feel that you're, on top of anybody. Isla, you had made a comment to me about just some things that were different on there, whether it was the shows or even the elevators you mentioned. What was that about?
So the elevators are a little bit different because they remind me they're a little bit more proactive, I guess, is what I want to say. Like you press the button and it tells you which elevator to go to. So like if you're say you want to go to the 14th deck, you press 14 and then it will direct you to which elevator to go to. So it's made that elevator process more efficient. It's not like it's a direct elevator directly to 14. It might stop at two other decks, but they're definitely, it gears it so not everybody's cramming into one elevator. I've been at the New York Marriott Marquis in Times Square, and that's exactly what they do. So it was funny. I think the first day we were on it, somebody mentioned that. They're like, oh, these are like the Marriott Marquis in Times Square elevators. And that's exactly what it's like. And it makes it more efficient, especially after shows or, a busy time, I guess, the first day when everybody's trying to get places. It's going to make that process a lot quicker. I think there were more elevators as well. I felt like they spaced them out better. The design of the area you're waiting in, it's not like it's just like a hall where you line up and there's three elevators. It was more of almost like an oval round shape. So there were some on each side, which I think that whole design made it much more efficient. The ship itself, one of the other features that we loved, and for many people that have sailed Royal before, especially on their Oasis class ships, your Central Park and your boardwalk were never on the same level. You would always have to go up or down a level. And this one, they created it where Central Park and Surfside neighborhoods are actually on the same level. So you walk out from Central Park, you go across the elevator bank, basically, and you're in Surfside, and it's great because you've got those new neighborhoods, those great neighborhoods on one level. And it just makes it easier and more efficient, I think, for the ship layout and knowing where things are. And as a whole, I think them moving that kid area down the Surfside really helps space people out better. All the pools aren't in one place. Everything's, kind of been designed to where you don't feel like you're crowded at all. I mean, our ship sailing, we were at 70% to 75% capacity, and it did not feel crowded at all. I mean, I didn't feel once like people were hovering over us. And that's the one question I've gotten since we've gotten off is, oh my gosh, did you feel like you were crowded? And I would have to say, no, definitely not. The only place that we've all talked about that where we felt you had to get there early was for the Aqua Show, because the new Aquadome Theater layout is a little bit smaller than the ones you're used to seeing on the larger Oasis class ships. There's just not as much seating. And so you definitely have to get to those shows, even if you have it reserved, you still have to get there to get good seating. I mean, almost an hour in advance.
Yeah, that's a good tip to have. And you've talked a lot about the different family spaces, but A lot of us want to know, what about adult spaces? Is there something that's just for the adults? Because obviously, I mean, it was the four of you adults, no kids on board with you at this time. Was there a special place to go? Rochelle, you're nodding.
Yes, there was. It was fantastic the way that they have it laid out. It's located just kind of hidden almost behind where the golf course is. So close enough where if you're traveling with children that might be old enough to go and explore on their own, they can still go off and do, and you're close. You're not several decks away and tucked away in a secluded area. But this new area is called the Hideaway, and it was designed beautifully. Lots of lounge chairs, in water loungers, the in water beds that you could rent. There's a bar and seating area that's just off to the side of where this infinity pool is. And so the infinity pool is gorgeous. It looks off the aft of the ship, and so you could just see the ocean as you're sailing by right there from the pool. But then just to the side of that is a bar with some really great specialty cocktails specific to this bar. They're just beautiful floral designed. And then a lot of really gorgeous wicker furniture that's just, it gives a lot of Mediterranean vibes, I felt. With the furniture, it was whites and the dark blues. It was just really, really pretty. So lots of chairs and tables to just sit and lounge, not so much pool lounging as it would be more socially lounging and hanging out. It's a nice, quiet adult atmosphere. It's actually where we dialed in for our weekly call with you while we were on board. So it worked out well for us to utilize that space also. But it's just a nice area for adults only where you don't feel like you're having to go to one of the two pools that kind of get overrun by kids. And I feel like as a mom of three small kids, I can say that with confidence because I know what those pools are like on a sea day, and it's a lot. There's a lot of kids in there, and if you just want to go somewhere and just have a cocktail and maybe read a book or just socialize, it's hard to do that at times in those more general pools, whereas this gives you that place to do that and still be close enough to get back to your kids again if they're old enough to go and explore on their own, or maybe they're in kids club for a little while and you can get out and just enjoy the quiet adult atmosphere for a little while as well.
That's nice. Yeah, really great. Well, now you're making me excited that I've got to go try this out. So, any other tips or thoughts that any of you have about the ship that you might want to share?
I would say for me, the biggest thing I noticed on the ship was the efficiency. Efficiency is key when you've got this many people on a ship. You have to be able to move people from point A to point B easily and quickly. So, like Isla pointed out, the elevator system was fantastic. But one of the other things that I really took note of coming back on the ship from being in port is most ships you come in, you're on deck one, deck two, depending on where gangway is at, and then you have to either take all the stairs all the way up or you're waiting and waiting for the elevator because everybody's coming back on at about the same time. On the Icon, they have two sets of escalators. So it's a constant moving transport system that just moves you up from deck two is where we came in at, up to three, and then you immediately went right back up on another escalator. You're on deck four. And that's essentially where like the promenade deck would be. And so it gets you right back, boom, you're there with where everything else is at, where you need to go. And it was easier for them to transition to an elevator, or if you wanted to go grab a quick bite to eat, and it helped to disperse the crowds much easier coming back on the ship. So I really, really loved that new concept that they added there as well.
That sounds great because I know that's always a pain point when you're waiting and standing in lines to get on. So, being able to move people quickly, that's great. And also, though, I wanted to ask, that brings me to having that large of a ship there at Coco Cay. Um, you had, I think, Rochelle, you had mentioned Hideaway Beach there that had just opened. You all got to experience that?
We did. Yes, it was absolutely well worth the opportunity to go see it. So with the new Icon, there's the Hideaway Beach or Hideaway Neighborhood, which is a section on the ship itself for adults only. And so it only makes sense for it to transfer from Coco Cay onto the ship the same way. So just this week, it has opened to the public the Hideaway Beach Club area, which is a kind of a pay to play type of a entry. But it's well worth it because, of course, with an entrance fee, it does help to monitor and limit the crowds and the amount of people that can come in there, and to disperse those crowds among the island. Also, the Hideaway Beach was fantastic. It's a gorgeous add to Coco Cay. It has tons of seating, tons of lounge space, tons of cabanas to be rented, and lots of different aspects of it. You've got pools, which were heated, by the way, so that was amazing. The ocean that you can go out to, and it's more of a barriered off, so it's not just open ocean. So that's nice. It limits the waves that come through there. But the atmosphere itself was phenomenal. It was a fun beach club vibe with a DJ, swim up pool bar, just all around a fun adult only vibe.
Okay, very
If I
nice.
can add something really quick to that, I think, one of the other things that's so important, and I think we experienced it throughout the ship and on the island, but the level of service that you get and the staff, all of the crew members, all of the folks that were on the island, especially in Hideaway Beach, they were just fantastic. They were super friendly, super welcoming, very accommodating, and just, they really added to that experience. You felt that they were there to help you make the most out of your vacation. And I was really just so happy to see that.
That's
And
nice.
just wanted to throw that out there because I do think that those crew members and the staff on the island, they worked so hard, and they did a great job of making us feel like we were the only ones there. It kind of felt like you were their top priority, you were their number one, the VIP, and so that was a nice feeling.
Oh, that's cool. Very nice. Well, I know there is one really important VIP famous crew member on board. Does anyone want to talk about her? Jamie?
Jamie,
Sure.
tell us all about our most famous crew member.
So the most famous crew member is Rover. She is the resident golden retriever that is on board. Unfortunately, we didn't get to meet her in person. She kind of just comes out sporadically throughout the ship. She does get off at Coco Cay and enjoys the beach. But we saw her one night during one of the events at night. She came out and was up on a balcony. But she does come out, people get to meet her, pet her, interact with her, and I think she's going to be really popular.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. A dog living on a ship. Wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Well, I really appreciate you all coming and talking to me about this today because I've seen pictures, but I, didn't really get a chance to really understand about the ship, and it really makes me, want to experience it myself. So thank you very much to all our listeners, and Jenny, Rochelle, Isla, and Jamie. I really appreciate you being here today with me. So please tune back in with us, everyone, as we continue to bring you information about destinations and experiences like this that you and your family may want to visit and do together. We are always exploring, learning tips and tricks that we hope you will find useful. So keep dreaming with us about that next destination, your next vacation, or your next adventure. Until next time, bye. Keep dreaming. Thank you.
Bye-bye.